Don't do this at home. Happy St. Patty's Day, guys. I'm sure you were expecting me to be smoking some sort of filthy hooligan or some sort of candela on this green of green days, but I'm not. And the reason is because I'm entirely unprepared. So today, we're smoking a Monte Cristo. I am still, of course, drinking my obligatory green dyed beer. Well, I'm not wearing green. I'm gonna think about that. I've been a little preoccupied with quite a few issues, not the least of which is my car burned down the other day. My wife hit a deer and the darn thing caught on fire and burned to the ground on the side of the road. So she's fine, no issues there. But one thing I will say is that if you're in the market for a travel humidor, this one here by Humicare, the Herfador, probably one of the most popular travel humidors. This sucker was in the car when it burned. And as you can see, it's just fine. I mean, there's some ash on it. It might be a little bit warped, actually, but it's sealed pretty good. The cigar's inside, still good, you know. A couple of little budget sticks I had in there, and but yeah, it was pretty nice to be able to pull out a cigar and light up on the side of the road while I was waiting for the firefighters to finish extinguishing my car. So I posted a picture of that on Instagram, so if you're on Instagram, you should check that out. And the humidor sitting in the back seat unscathed. So anyways, like I said, for that reason, I'm not entirely prepared today. And I was already planning on reviewing this stick, so we're going after the Monte Cristo by AJ Fernandez. And I was told by a friend of mine that this is the best of the AJF collaborations. I'll be the judge of that. We begin with a Habano 2000 wrapper, a Dominican Criollo binder, and also Dominican Criollo long fillers. This particular stick is a 4.2 by 54, price point 7 to 12. Well, appearance-wise, this one is all label, and I'm not kidding. Being such a short Robusto, and the very extravagant and beautiful, really, label and sub-label on this thing is, that's all you see. What you can see of the wrapper is a bit of a Colorado Maduro. Not much else I can tell other than that, except up here at the top we have a double cap, and unfortunately there's a couple scraps of just little bits of tobacco that are caught in the cigar glue when they were adhering the cap on. Very sloppy. Very disappointed to see that. Honestly, kind of a sweet tobacco aroma off this thing. A lot sweeter than I expected. Back to what I was saying about the cap. You know, there's just a few bits on there. I don't know how well you can see in the picture, but there's actually 2, maybe 3 just bits of tobacco that were just accidentally put in there when the cap was glued on. And normally I'm not too picky about the way that the cigar looks because I do a lot of budget stick reviews and stuff like that. But when I'm reviewing a stick like this, that's really a premium cigar that you're gonna pay a premium for, I'm a little bit pickier, and I'm gonna pick out some of those little things that really should be caught in, in quality control. I can think of 2 or 3 factories that this would not have made it out of with these imperfections in the cap like that. So, just a disclaimer, on some sticks, like a cheap budget stick that's, $1.50 to $2 a stick, I'm not going to call out something like that. I'm just going to tell you, hey, it's kind of ugly, but it smokes good, or it doesn't, whatever the case may be. But when I'm reviewing a premium stick like this, and I see some imperfections like that, especially for one of my favorite cigar makers, I'm going to call it out. Okay, let's get this thing cut. Beautiful draw on this thing. Loads of flavor on the pre-light draw. Lots of raisin and spice. I almost feel like I should take off the sub-label before I even light it, but we'll let it burn for a couple of minutes before I take it off, I guess. Just out of tradition. Let's get lit. Well guys, fantastic start to this thing. The head of the cigar is just packed tight with tobacco, yet it still has a fantastic draw. It's a great feeling. Right off the bat, it's pretty complex and there are some nuances in there that I still haven't had a chance to nail down, so I don't want to speak too much about them. What I can tell you is that it's definitely full flavored, medium to full in body. And there might be just, I don't know, I won't talk about flavor yet. I'll leave you with this, and then I'm going to smoke it for probably just a couple minutes. I'll be right back. Alright guys, it's been 10 minutes. Beautiful burn started on this thing. We're just about into that first label. So, for these flavors right off the bat, the draw flavor, leather, and sweet earth. At the beginning of the finish, nice black pepper spice. Towards the end of the finish, there's a return of the earth and like an almond flavor that kind of ends out the finish. On the retrohale, there's like a dry cocoa with more spice. And that's what I meant when I said it's actually very complex. And it took me all 10 minutes, like sitting down, smoking this thing, like picking out like exactly what all these different flavors were and the order that you get them in, because it's a lot to take in. All of that with just a beautiful body in the medium to full range, and just all this flavor hitting your mouth just all at once. Really quite excellent. I gotta take this label off right now before it starts to burn into it. We'll talk to you later. Well, we'll talk to you in a little while, I guess. Big transition in this thing, guys. I think I've been smoking it for about 30 minutes. And, you know, not too far into it. Probably the cigar this short, getting somewhere in that second third. And almost really in one puff, it seems like all the complexity just went away. And the cigar just kind of fell flat. It's mostly just kind of an earth and leather right now. The spice is gone, all the other nuances is gone, the almond flavor is gone, and it was just really shockingly sudden. I don't know if I've ever had a transition that was just that sudden. Just all of a sudden, in one puff, the whole flavor characteristic of the cigar just changed. So I'm hoping we get a little bit of that complexity back. And I really like the spice and some of those other flavors that were in there, but right now it's just kind of a leathery earth flavor. And that's it, literally, that's it. And kind of odd, so I figured I better check in right now, and we'll see what happens further on down the road. Okay guys, ash finally just fell off. I'm sure I'm past the halfway mark. It's such a short cigar, it's kind of hard to tell. We did get a decent amount of flavor back in the brand of some sweet chocolate. That almond flavor did come back. There's still leather and earth. So not quite as complex as it was at first. Nothing like its former glory, but it is still a great tasting stick. And aside from the last little bit here, it's been pretty even burning. The ash looked fantastic before it fell down. It was, you know, a decent size there. And like I said before, the draw is just great. So still going fantastic. It's just kind of odd that the flavor changes the way that it's been. And I'll check in one more time before I put it down. Alright guys, done with that one. Alright, let's go over that again. Right off the bat, when this thing started out, intensely complex. All kinds of flavor, ranging from earth, cocoa, like a sweet leather flavor. There was almond, there was spice. It was just this intense mouthful of all these different flavors. Somewhere in the second third, that just kind of all fell away very suddenly, and you were just left with leather and earth. But then it built back up, beginning with a nice sweet cocoa flavor, sweet chocolate, and a little bit of a return of that nut flavor. And the final third, a little more complex in the second third. With the addition, you had some earth, nuts, cocoa, and a little bit more spice that was there in that first third. Other than that, just a fantastic, good draw, great ash, a decent burn for most of the cigar. No issues with it whatsoever as far as the construction side of it. Appearance-wise, it had a couple flaws in it that I called out earlier. Other than that, really an excellent cigar, I really have to say. Back to the question, is it the best AJ Fernandez collaboration? No, I like the Hoyo del Monterey, the Hoyo La Amistad better. That's just personal preference though. And I don't think I've even had all of the collaborations. I think there's one with, what is it, the T. I haven't had that one yet. There might be one or two others that I haven't. I haven't had the Diablo yet. So I'm lacking a few to give a proper judging of whether or not this is the best collaboration. But as far as the collaborations that I've had so far, the Hoyo La Amistad was a little, it just barely knocked this one down in my estimation. Because of course, this is all personal preference that we're talking about here. We're not, there's no real ranking here. It's just my personal preference that we're talking about. And you know what? Give me your opinion. That's what I want to know. Get down in the comment section and tell me which one of these, the collaborations that you've had, and tell me which one you think is the best. I'm curious. I want to know. Seriously, get down there. That's all I've got for you today, guys. I want to say a thank you to my buddy Aaron for lending me this stick to give my opinion on it. A fantastic cigar. It was great to have tonight, and happy St. Patty's Day, guys. If you're looking for cigars, go ahead and check the description. There's a link there to Cigar Page, the best place to buy cigars on the internet. Check them out, please. Happy St. Patty's Day and happy smoking.